Deep in the vast sands of the Sahara Desert lies one of the most legendary cities in African history, Timbuktu. For centuries, people across the world spoke about this mysterious place. Some called it the City of Gold, while others believed it was a mythical city filled with unimaginable riches. But Timbuktu was not just a legend, it was real, and its story is one of wealth, knowledge, and powerful empires. The story of Timbuktu began humbly. Around the early 12th century, Timbuktu started as a small, seasonal settlement used by desert nomads. The Tuareg people often stopped there during their journeys across the Sahara Desert. Because of its location near the Great Niger River and several important desert trade routes, the settlement slowly grew into a permanent town. Traders traveling across the Sahara soon discovered that Timbuktu was the perfect meeting point for commerce. Caravans of camels arrived from distant regions, carrying salt, cloth, and goods from North Africa and the Mediterranean world. In return, merchants traded gold, ivory, cola nuts, and slaves from West African kingdoms. Goods flowed into the city from powerful trading centers such as Bego in the Bonoman region and the famous desert trading city of Sigil Massa. As trade increased, Timbuktu grew richer and more powerful. By the early 14th century, the city became part of the mighty Mali Empire, one of the largest and wealthiest empires in African history. During this time, Timbuktu flourished. Merchants filled its markets, scholars gathered in its mosques, and caravans carrying thousands of camels crossed the desert just to reach the city. Gold from West Africa passed through Timbuktu to markets across North Africa, the Middle East, and even Europe. But Timbuktu's greatness was not built on trade alone. The city soon became one of the greatest centers of knowledge in the world. At the heart of this intellectual life was the famous Sankore Madrasa, one of the most important universities of the medieval world. Thousands of students traveled from across Africa and the Islamic world to study subjects like mathematics, astronomy, medicine, law, and religion. Books were incredibly valuable in Timbuktu. In fact, during its golden age, books were sometimes more expensive than gold. Scholars copied thousands of manuscripts by hand, creating libraries filled with knowledge from many civilizations. Because of this, Timbuktu became known as a city not only of wealth, but also of learning and culture. One ruler would make the city famous across the entire world. His name was Mansa Musa, the powerful emperor of the Mali Empire. In 1324, Mansa Musa made a historic pilgrimage to Mecca. His journey across the Sahara and through Egypt included thousands of soldiers, servants, and camels loaded with gold. The emperor gave away so much gold along the way that it reportedly caused economic disruption in some cities. News of this incredible wealth spread quickly across the medieval world. Soon, maps in Europe began marking Timbuktu as a mysterious city overflowing with riches. Travelers, explorers, and writers became fascinated with the legendary African city. Writers such as Leo Africanus described Timbuktu as a city filled with scholars, merchants, and magnificent buildings. For many Europeans, the city became almost mythical, a distant and mysterious place somewhere deep in Africa. However, history would eventually change Timbuktu's fate. In the first half of the 15th century, the Tuareg people briefly took control of the city. Later, in 1468, the powerful Songhai Empire conquered Timbuktu and incorporated it into their growing empire. The city continued to thrive under Songhai rule, but in 1591, an army from Morocco invaded the region and defeated the Songhai Empire. After the invasion, Timbuktu came under the control of a new ruling group known as the Arma people. Although the city remained important, its golden age had begun to fade. Over the following centuries, shifting trade routes, political conflicts, and instability slowly weakened Timbuktu's power. Different local groups ruled the city until it was eventually taken over by France in 1893 during the colonial era. Later, in 1960, the city became part of the modern nation of Mali after independence. If you enjoy the story and want more stories like this, subscribe to the channel at Africa Folktales, Movies and Storytelling.